Welcome to the movie and TV show, with another analysis. Now let's talk about Ahsoka, which premiered on Disney Plus with episodes 1 and 2. The series started off well, with a few things I didn't like, but for the most part, it's very enjoyable. Let's begin by discussing the soundtrack. Star Wars music is always excellent, and we have Kevin Kinner returning for the soundtrack, responsible for the music in the animated series Star Wars Rebels. In Ahsoka, Kevin delivers a masterful score, developing it in each scene, both with themes used in Star Wars Rebels and new compositions, such as the themes for the antagonists Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. These two episodes function as an almost closed arc, recreating the end of the animated series Star Wars Rebels, even reenacting some scenes from the animation in live action to make it clear. This helps explain who the characters are for those who haven't seen the animated series, as not all fans have watched Star Wars Rebels. Unfortunately, the animation in Star Wars Rebels has a very childlike style with a more mature storyline, making it a bit challenging for adults to digest. However, this doesn't become a problem for fans to understand what's happening. These two episodes take place shortly after Ahsoka helped Mando and Grogu defeat and capture Magistrate Morgan Elsbeth in the Mandalorian series. It's not clear if Ahsoka already knows Luke Skywalker at this point. The first episode starts with a red opening title, reminiscent of the last arc of the 7th season of the Clone Wars, where the series logo and episode titles were presented in red instead of the usual yellow to create a heavier and more serious atmosphere. It's clear that Ahsoka means business. This beginning also pays homage to the classic openings of the Skywalker saga films. The episodes also provide a brief recap of what has happened since Ahsoka's appearance in The Mandalorian, followed by an introduction to the two antagonists, Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. These characters represent a new form of Jedi in the Star Wars universe, Jedi and Padawans without masters, not following the traditional Jedi order, but more like ancient Ronin samurai, who have lost or don't have a master and follow their own ideals and motivations. A great idea for the franchise, as Star Wars has been heavily tied to the 9 Skywalker saga films, and it needs a renewal to step out of Skywalker's shadow. Interestingly, Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati have names inspired by Norse mythology, where Hati and Skoll were two wolves, sons of Fenrir and grandchildren of Loki, associated with both light and darkness and playing a crucial role in the Ragnarok, the apocalypse in Norse mythology. Dave Filoni, the series creator, has a fascination with wolves and often includes wolf-related elements in his Star Wars series. His favorite clone character is Commander Wolf, and he introduced the mysterious Lothal wolves in Star Wars Rebels, which are vital to the concept of the world between worlds. It's unfortunate to note that actor Ray Stevenson passed away shortly after completing the filming of Ahsoka. Stevenson had previously provided voices for characters in Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars. In Ahsoka, he delivers a menacing yet subtle and impressive performance. The dedication to Ray Stevenson at the end of the first episode is a touching tribute. Another curiosity is the orange lightsabers of Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati, a reference to the faded orange used in the posters of the original Star Wars films. These early posters featured an orange lightsaber instead of the now iconic red lightsaber associated with Darth Vader, which originally oscillated between red and orange due to the special effects of that era in the movies. Baylan Skoll appears to be an adapted version of an interesting character from the Heir to the Empire book trilogy. This character is a clone of Joruus CB, a dark Jedi created by Emperor Palpatine who played a significant role during the Thrawn campaign and became the guardian of Mount Tantus on Wayland, a secret facility for Palpatine's cloning experiments. Timothy Zahn, the author of the Heir to the Empire Legends books and the creator of Admiral Thrawn, is serving as a consultant for the Ahsoka series. Magistrate Morgan Elsbeth is indeed a Night Sister, a group of witches in the Star Wars universe. One of the most well-known Night Sisters is Darth Maul's mother, who reconstructed Darth Maul's mind after his first defeat by Obi-Wan. During the 2 episodes, Morgan Elsbeth is trying to obtain a map that is stored in a sphere, which reveals the location of Admiral Thrawn, as well as Ahsoka's interest. When Elsbeth finally obtains the sphere and studies the map, the navigation patterns shown resemble those of the Worlds Between Worlds from Star Wars Rebels. The World Between Worlds is a place where Ahsoka saved Ezra Bridger and allows for time travel in Star Wars stories. In the 2nd episode, Morgan Elsbeth, Baylan Skoll, and Shin Hati discover that the way to find Admiral Thrawn is through the Peridea Passage, using the Eye of Sion station or spacecraft. Similar ships have been seen in the Clone Wars and Attack of the Clones. The name of this ship or space station is a reference to a character named Darth Sion or Lord of Pain, who appears in Star Wars Legends in Knights of the Old Republic 2. The Peridea Passage could also be a route used by space whales for migration throughout the galaxy. These space whales travel at light speed and were shown at the end of Star Wars Rebels, carrying Ezra and Thrawn into unknown galactic territory. They also appeared in The Mandalorian, observed by Grogu during a hyperspace journey with Mando. These space whales are called Purgles, and they appear on the map shown in Ahsoka's series, indicating their likely significant role in the season. As the series is a continuation of Rebels, it brings several new characters into the Star Wars film and series franchise, such as Governor Ryder Azadi and Senator J. Kell in Lothal, during the ceremony to celebrate the heroes of the rebellion from Rebels. This serves as a reminder for those who watched the animation and an introduction for those who haven't. Among the crew of the Ghost from Rebels, we see almost everyone in these 2 episodes: Hera Syndulla, the droid Huyang, Chopper, Sabine Wren, and Ezra Bridger, all looking great in their appearances. Interestingly, Dave Filoni provides the voice for Chopper. However, Sabine Wren is a character who comes off as less likable in these 2 episodes. She's portrayed as somewhat irritating, rebellious, selfish, and irresponsible. Sabine is living in the tower where Ezra used to reside. After meeting Ahsoka and learning about the possibility of finding Ezra and Admiral Thrawn, and the chance to prevent a war, Sabine simply runs away from Ahsoka with the map and returns to her tower, seemingly unconcerned about the consequences of her actions. Sabine manages to activate the map within the sphere and is then attacked by Shin Hati and 2 droids. Sabine survives an unfortunate, but non-lethal attack with Shin's lightsaber, and Shin steals the map from her. One notable weakness in the script is that Ahsoka travels with Huyang, a droid who has been in the galaxy since the early days of the Jedi Order and should know about codes and how to extract information from another droid after Sabine loses the map. The script makes Sabine seem more technologically knowledgeable about the Jedi than Huyang, which doesn't align with the established lore of Star Wars, where the resourceful R2-D2 often solved electronic problems for the heroes. It's somewhat inconsistent with the classic Star Wars material. Sabine Wren is Ahsoka's Padawan, and Ahsoka herself was a Padawan who never completed her Jedi training with Anakin Skywalker. This theme of the master and apprentice relationship doesn't seem like a good idea for the series. Unfortunately, we'll have to endure the development of Ahsoka and Sabine's relationship as master and apprentice throughout the season. Ahsoka, a character who was somewhat similar to what Sabine is now in Clone Wars, a rebellious character who didn't listen to anyone and did as she pleased, seems to have retained some of that attitude, now portrayed by Rosario Dawson as an older and somewhat megalomaniacal character. She's on a mission to find Admiral Thrawn and defeat him, with the hope of rescuing Ezra Bridger. Ahsoka showcases a new ability in these episodes, psychometry, which allows her to use the Force to gather information about people or events associated with inanimate objects or locations. One thing that stands out is the attempt to feature female characters in prominent roles throughout the season, with only a few male characters in the background, often unimportant or providing voices for droids. This attempt to make Star Wars more feminist is evident in these 2 episodes. Feminist advocacy was seen as a problem in the recent Star Wars films and series produced by Disney. It remains to be seen if the season will continue to introduce feminist and activist ideas in future episodes rather than focusing on telling a good story. That concludes the analysis of the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. Please leave your comments, like, and subscribe to the channel. It's free, and you greatly support the channel. Until next time, take care.